Hey everybody, and welcome to Geeks and Drinks. I'm Jason.
Jordan.
It's been a while. I'm glad you guys stuck around for us. It's been about 2 months now?
Yeah.
But, we've been busy, life, jobs, what have you. But if you've already seen on the Facebook pages, on the social media sites, we have a schedule set up right now, so you'll see us every other week. The other side will be from my mother's basement for the foreseeable future. So at least we'll have the schedule, and actually now we have to, follow up on it.
Yeah. Being old sucks.
I know. Work, responsibilities, life.
Sounds dreadful. And exhausting.
But we can at least drink good stuff. Like this Oban 14 that you got me so generously for my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I will not be surprised if most of it's gone by the end of the day.
Nah, we won't go that hard.
But let's just jump into it. Just a few things to talk about. First off, we finally have a release date and a teaser for Marvel's Iron Fist, the last of the Defender series that was going to be coming out on Netflix exclusively. We'll talk about Luke Cage in a little bit, but the fact that we finally got to this point...
Well, not even that. Isn't, this is actually, it's not Iron Fist. Is it just Iron Fist? Or is it
just Iron Fist?
Or this is the Defenders, and it's like...
No, this is Iron Fist. He got his own thing. And then we get to Defenders.
And is it an actual series?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Okay, because wasn't there talks for a while of
there
it
was
being like a Sherlock Holmes?
Yeah, there was talk of it being like a 3 episode, like each being like an hour and a half, 2 hours long. Yeah, no. Everything's pointing towards a series. So you had Daredevil, you had Jessica Jones, then we had Luke Cage, and now we're gonna have Iron Fist.
Motherfucking Danny Rand.
And finally, after all that, we will finally have the Defenders film, and then we go back to essentially phase 2 of all the Netflix stuffs for, what was it, Daredevil season 3? Because now you had Punisher. Punisher's getting his own series.
Yeah, which actually just started filming this week.
Luke Cage season 2. I'm sure Jessica Jones will get a second season. I can't wait to get your thoughts on Luke Cage, because as of last Sunday, you've only seen the first 3 episodes,
and now I've only seen 3 more. But...
And I told myself I need to catch up. I need to watch all of this. Within 3 days, I've marathoned all 13 episodes.
That's what we do. The only difference was I was exhausted yesterday, so I came home from work. It's like I could watch Luke Cage. Nah, I'm gonna get hammered and watch some cartoons.
Which you have to do it from time to time.
Sorry, cartoons and Young Frankenstein. 'Tis the season, motherfucker.
Yes.
But no, I'm super excited for good old Iron Fist, Danny Rand. Because he's one of those characters I don't really know that well.
Same here. Out of all the Defenders, he's the one I know the least about.
Well, I mean, Jessica Jones I knew the least of.
Oh, for you it was? Okay.
Well, because Jessica Jones, their comic book character, she disappeared into the ether for a while when she had the kid and stuff like that. She just kind of stepped out of the limelight.
Well, I mean, there's also questionable stuff that she did in the comics in the past. She was convinced by the Purple Man to become part of the Avengers and actually start a plot to kill every member of the Avengers, and that got all out convoluted and whatnot. So but with Iron Fist, I really don't know that much. We only have a little trailer. You could see it online. It's 7-8 seconds long. Shows no footage of the series whatsoever. They did release...
They got that super image of him, Superman punching a guy.
Yeah, with the trail of bodies behind him.
Like I said, that was the quote below it was "open heart, closed fist."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he looks a little Ryan Phillippe-ish right there with that little blonde curls.
Kinda, yeah. You get that.
But full circle, man. The '90s are coming back. God, I hope not. But still,
I'm just curious to see. Because the stuff I've been reading about this is talking about how it ties in with all the other characters. A lot of the side characters in all of these Defenders series are jumping series and showing up here and there and whatnot. And everything's talking about how Iron Fist, is a romantic partner with Misty Knight, which is a detective in Luke Cage. So I'd be curious to see how that all ties in, if that's actually going to happen in this Netflix version. So... we will find out.
That'd be weird because Luke Cage fucks her in episode 1.
One episode, but that's about it. I'm not going to spoil anything else. We'll talk about it at the end of the episode about
Anyways.
that. Anyways, so that is coming out fairly quickly. So
March.
Cannot wait. March 17th. So
yeah, that one.
Not too much longer. And of course, right after that, then we'll have Defenders, and we'll get into.
Do you really think? I think we'll get Punisher before we get Defenders.
I think we'll get Punisher after Defenders.
Mm.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Something else that launched recently online was the new trailer for Pirates of the Caribbean. What, 5 now?
Yeah.
Subtitle is Dead Men Tell No Tales. The new, I guess you can call it sea baddie for this one is played by Javier Bardem or Bardem. I always forget.
I don't know.
Anyways, we watched the trailer a little while ago. It doesn't really show much. You just see Javier's character.
He looks kind of cool and flowy, even though he's on dry land.
Yeah, I do like that effect that like he's actually walking underwater. Of course, Pirates has always been known for having great CG.
Well, I mean, like I couldn't. It's kind of. We just watched the trailer, and all I could think of is he's like spitting up this like black bile. I just immediately thought of the Penguin getting fucking wrecked at the end of Batman Returns.
I can easily see that. Of course, the question is though, how dark is Disney going to allow this to actually go? They try
More
to
than you'd think, but less than you'd
think,
hope.
yeah.
You know that's my go-to answer for a lot of shit, but I really do think
I think that actually proves in this situation to be exactly right.
I think with this one we're gonna get a little bit darker. I wonder if they're gonna like explain the Jack Sparrow history.
I mean, we're in the 5th movie. They can't do this forever. They have to start.
No, like there's books too.
Oh, that's right. They did this whole franchise of different types of media and whatnot.
Well, no, like the cool thing was in Pirates 2 and 3, you hear that Jack Sparrow has a debt to be repaid. You don't know what it is. They explained it in the books. His debt to be repaid was he ended up taking over a ship that was full of slaves.
What did he do with the
He
slaves?
set them free. Basically, he offered the slaves to be free and it for to be tallied onto him.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. So it's the typical Disney persona. We have this horrible thing, but we're gonna find a nice, family-friendly way to resolve it.
Well, yeah, not even that. Like Jack Sparrow was always anti-hero.
Yes.
In the
very much
lightest
so.
form.
Yeah. Very true. So
like think about it, when he could have killed anybody on when they're on Jamaica, like in the very beginning of the first movie, he could have killed multiple people. He doesn't.
True. Anyways,
we learned from Deadpool, killing people makes you a hero or a villain. That's the deciding factor.
You only get 4 or 5 times in your life where you can choose to be a hero.
This is not one of them. I will say this, now that we're all talking about trailers, though, and technically Disney is part of Marvel, there's actually there's a fantastic thing I saw online where apparently the new Doctor Strange trailer plays exactly the same if you play it backwards.
Really?
Like, apparently they did that on purpose. Like, you can watch, like, the minute and a half, however long it is, forwards, but when you play it backwards, it still works just fine.
That's a brilliant piece of marketing, actually. Especially because
it looks like Inception with superheroes.
That's exactly what this is going to be.
Minus Hans Zimmer's amazing score. Which, dude, the first time I actually heard that, I remember thinking, like, this is awesome. Heard it the second time, and it just kept weighing in. I'm like, I feel like this is what happens when someone tries to record something, and they're, like, just sick and vomiting. Like,
oh, God, no more, bruh.
Yeah, they just got too close to the microphone. It's like, oh, hold on, I need a minute. Mr. Zimmer, your mic's still on.
You get that? All right.
And then he accidentally like sent in the B-roll. And they're like, "Fuck it! It has his name attached to it. We're good." It's a Nolan movie. It doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah, this is true. Anyways, speaking of Disney stuff, I'm sure many of you have been following the news online about how Disney is shutting down the Twilight of Terror ride in both Disneyland and Walt Disney World to make room for a fast-track Marvel ride.
It's technically based off of a Twilight Zone thing. Sorry, it's based off of an old Twilight Zone thing. Or sorry, it's based off of a movie that's based off of a Twilight Zone thing. And that movie was starring fucking Steve Guttenberg and Kirsten Dunst. Come on, when that woman smiles, it just looks like a mouthful of Tic Tacs. I think you were the one that was telling me, like, they're being very, well, prior to releasing this concept art, they were being super hush-hush, where, like, everything was pitch black, and they, like, even the people who work there, it's like, you don't see shit.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a friend who actually works on the ride, and they were... It's interesting about this. They can claim they want a Marvel ride. And obviously, yes, you paid $4 billion for the franchise. You want to start recouping more money other than just movies itself.
I'm surprised by this, because I thought Universal owned the theme park rights.
They had some deal, and they still have their Islands of Adventure, and they have Spider-Man and Hulk and all those people over there. They must have worked out some sort of deal, or that's maybe expired, or who?
Marvel pulled a deal. It's like, you can still do you. We're gonna do our thing.
Yeah.
We'll give you a cut until your thing wears out.
Or
'Cause
it could
once
be
it's
like,
out,
we can do more new things. You can't do any more new attractions or anything like that.
some weird bullshit loophole.
Yeah, some loophole, whatever. So
You can't make any new rides or anything that's new since like 1993. Images of like CG Spider-Man that was on Fox.
But
That sweet guitar solo.
Here's the thing, though. Disney has been known to put on a lot of work and effort into some amazing attractions in their theme parks.
Oh, they're Imagineers. They're miracle workers.
I
in some
still
instances.
love going on Indiana Jones to this day.
Oh, now
but-
that they updated it too.
Yes. The thing is, though, with this, when they said they were going to basically rebrand the Tower of Terror ride, kind of didn't make any sense, especially when they turned around and said, yeah, this is going to be Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay. Listen, just turn around and state you didn't want to continue paying CBS an X amount of money every year just for the licensing rights to use the name and the likenesses of the characters for their ride. Okay, I can understand from a business standpoint. But then when you turn around and say, we're going to make this Guardians of the Galaxy, it's going to close in January 2017, and the new ride's going to open up in March 2017.
How much work do you think they're actually going to be able to get done?
Well, here's the thing, though. One, they've already taken down the Tower of Terror sign on the side of the building itself. Second, this whole everything's in the dark, this late checkout thing. You can't see anything because they've already started to pull out shit out of there.
That's fine.
So it's just going to be empty. That's one way to turn it around.
Look, man, Disney's pulling like a West Coast Avengers thing, like Florida or what East Coast can still have their shit.
Right.
But I think they're trying to build their thing here. I mean, let's
True.
be honest, California Adventure doesn't really have its own thing yet.
No, it really does. I mean, they kind of have Cars Land now, but at the same
But
time,
that's still
though,
but it's like a teenager.
Yes.
They're still trying to figure out who they are. Like, yeah,
But here's the
their best years aren't exactly behind them, but
true. But let me get to this. Here's the shot, a concept art of the exterior of the Guardians of the Galaxy ride itself. You can obviously tell it's still Tower of Terror. It's just external doodads and a paint job and some new lighting, and that's basically it. The exterior of it doesn't really do much, but then again, many other theme parks do the same.
yeah,
She
the
was pointing
rebranding
out-
is nothing new.
Yeah. It's just surprising from Disney's standpoint. Disney always been known, especially for their attractions, take their time, make things work, move forward. If you have to rebuild a couple things and delay while you're trying to make a fun attraction, then you go ahead and do so.
I also wonder if this is just to hurry and get it the fuck out because Guardians 2 is coming out.
Well, the thing is, the release date for this new ride
Week of.
is the day of it comes out. That's what they're aiming for. I mean, hell, the premiere of Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is going to take place at California Adventure, most likely in the Hyperion. So it makes sense for them to try to push this so fast of, distinguished guests and fans and whatnot
I'm
will
just
go
saying,
to
they can
Hyperion.
fast track it and then fix shit later as it needs to.
True.
Not the best, most well thought out way of doing things, but it is doable.
I mean, I guess you could think of the same thing with the Frozen ride that's going on in Walt Disney World, where they rushed a few things, but they did what they could to expand upon it, but they still have a ways to go because things still break down, and not to mention there's still a 5-hour on average wait time for that ride. That's maybe a minute 45 long. Yeah, even for a diehard Frozen fan like me, that's ridiculous. That's just me.
Frozen ride.
Let's just move on, though, to some movie news. We've heard news about different franchises getting the movie treatment, whether it be anime, whether it be, obviously, comics. Video games seems to be the next thing. It's been recently announced that there's going to be an upcoming Gears of War movie.
Get John DiMaggio to be Marcus Phoenix.
I highly doubt that's going to happen.
He's a bit more ginger than Phoenix, but he could pull it off.
I'm not saying he can't.
Ever since at Comic-Con when he sang the San Diego Chargers theme song from way back in the day, it's like that man's acting range. He can do whatever he wants.
But see, at that point, though, I can see them going, you can do John DiMaggio, or you can turn around and get the popularity that is Ron Perlman. He's pulled
Ron
off...
Perlman's too B-side.
You think so?
Yes.
Like, are you expecting this to be a AAA movie though?
No.
Yeah, this is gonna be like a B flick at best.
Maybe I'm being too generous with B. I'm just saying, Ron Perlman, what is he last known for really doing?
He was in Pacific Rim.
Okay. And he was goofy as shit and made no sense in that.
He was great.
He was more fun watching Charlie Day. And he was like a weird hipster with like, whatever.
Agree to disagree at that
And
point.
then he
yeah.
did that weird like movie where he played like a Viking or a caveman or something because that's just the man's face.
Right. For those of you wondering, how's this gonna go? What's this gonna be about? There's very, very few details out there. But Rod Ferguson, which is the head of the coalition, the people who actually worked on Gears of War 4, came out and said that yes, the fourth one just recently came out. Said the plans for a movie were the next logical step, but the opportunity to work with Universal to bring the movie to life was perfect. So
we made 4 video games. The next logical step is to make a movie.
Money. It's all it
Actually,
is.
no, that makes sense. Because when Resident Evil 4 came out, that's around the time the movie came
When they
out.
started making the Resident Evil movies, which they're now on, 7 at this point? I mean, let's face it.
There's way more than that, but like number-wise, I think it's at 7. Because they have weird ones where it's like resurgence and shit like that.
If we're not going to include the CG movies that were made, that came out from Japan for it, I think they're on their 7th live-action movie. But as far as overall movies for Resident Evil, they're like 10 at this point. Oh no, they keep on cranking those out. Now they claim this is the last Resident Evil movie to come out.
It's like the Saw movies, the final chapter. Motherfucker, you said that.
You
3
can
movies
only
ago.
show Mila Jovovich naked so many times before people can, not stomach it anymore.
I didn't enjoy it in the first place.
Okay, well, yes, most people are the same way. But
even as a horny teenager watching like Fifth Element, it's like, no, I could skip that.
It is a video game movie, and the problem is you're going to see a lot of people wonder if this is going to go that same path.
Should have gotten Bob Hoskins if he was still alive. It's the best Mario ever. Get John Leguizamo to play Dom.
It could be worse. You can get, Uwe Boll to do any of this stuff?
Boll.
That piece of shit? Yeah.
He's a piece of shit in the sense that like people started giving him shit and he's like, look, you know what I do. Like you can't be that surprised anymore.
Right.
Oh, you make shit movies. Fuck you, I get paid a lot of money to make this shit, so...
I do have to give him props, though, because he did, at one point, challenge a bunch of reporters to a boxing match in the ring, because they kept on, dissing him so much.
That's just a dick move.
Yeah, well, yeah. But anyways, the Gears of War movie is not going to probably follow much of what you're expecting. Like the upcoming Assassin's Creed movie, it takes place in the same universe, but we're not including much of the same characters, save for maybe a few cameos. You'll probably see the same thing happen with this Gears of War movie. It'll take place in the universe, but it won't be anything that you've played before.
Didn't they announce Gears of War, didn't they announce like they're gonna make an Assassin's Creed movie right when 4 came out?
I believe so, yeah.
Around that same time frame?
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to keep up because it's one of those things like, I almost said Activision. Ubisoft is kind of like, oh yeah, what year is it? Oh, did we release new Assassin's Creed yet? No. Well, fucking get on that.
Yeah. Just keep on working on that. People love to try new franchises. They think they're going to work. I honestly think Gears of War movie is going to probably turn out to be like the next Doom.
That'd make sense.
Yeah, where they'll have like maybe a
Bring the Rock back as
5-minute sequence that's like the game itself, and the rest of it be something completely different. Except you'll have Rock just in there going, Semper Fi, motherfucker!
Yeah, the only thing I remember about the Doom movie is like the only good part of it was like that when he went to like first person
shooter, and they made such a big deal out of that, and I just like starting to get a bit motion sickness here.
Some people are into that. Look at that one fucking
Hardcore Henry.
Yeah, that what piece of shit.
The entire movie is in first person action.
Yeah, and how well did that work
I
out?
still want to see it, but I will only be able to see it in small chunks with excessive amounts of Dramamine and booze to get me through that. Yeah. Speaking of movies, Disney, we've known for a while that they're going to be trying to redo a live action adaptation, I should say, of
every single one of their movies.
Everything. They started with Cinderella. You had...
God, I keep forgetting that actually happened.
I mean, I only remember because there was Frozen Fever at the beginning of it.
God damn it, Jason. Like you want me to mock you sometimes.
Oh, please. As I'm sitting next to a giant Elsa balloon figure that you got for me for my birthday for a party you actually put on, which, again, thank you very much.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, man. I mean, part of me was like, oh man, it's $20 for like a cheap joke of getting Jason a blown up Elsa. But it's only $20 to get Jason a shitty blow up Elsa.
She still has some air in her, you know? Not much, but anyways.
Don't worry, it was Mario themed. Jessica made sure of that. I was the one just being an asshole.
Anyways, we already know that the next one that's been coming out is Beauty and the Beast. They've already shown a couple trailers for it. But there was 2 other movies that came down the pipeline that was announced. One was an all-CG version of The Lion King, directed by Jon Favreau, most likely because he did a fantastic job with Jungle Book.
Well, yeah, dude, they did a thing like Rotten Tomatoes out of this year. What movie has the highest ratings, like percentage?
Mm-hmm.
Jungle Book.
Yeah, it was a great
I
movie.
think it was rocking like 99-something%.
Sounds about right. It was the high 90s.
Yeah.
The other one that was just recently announced is a live-action Mulan movie. The reason we're bringing this one up is because Disney has, for some reason, decided to fast-track this one.
Because that movie's amazing, and Donny Osmond needs more work.
You just want him walk in the background. Let's get down to business.
To defeat the Huns.
Jeez. It's funny and sad that I've only seen clips of this movie to maybe about a month and a half ago, where Jess actually sat me down and I finally watched this movie in its entirety.
What?
I know. I finally saw this movie in its entirety like a month ago.
God, man.
I know.
Has she at least made you sit down and watch Meet the Robinsons? Has that been done yet?
No, I've done that myself.
Okay.
I did that like the week after we talked about that.
Jesus Christ, man. The fuck did you do when you were... Oh, it's alright. I don't think televisions were a thing yet when you were a child.
Again.
Radio serials. Wasn't there anything
God
remotely
damn
close to that?
Campfire stories is all I had when I was growing up.
Ah, and cave drawings.
God damn it.
Back when the land was new.
Anyways, so Disney is fast-tracking this for a November 2nd, 2018 release. To start the process, Disney has actually launched a global search for a Chinese actress to play the lead character. So they want...
Ming Na Wen.
She's too old to play that role.
Okay, they unaged Patrick Stewart for fucking a few of the X-Men movies.
By hiring someone else to play the character.
And Jeff Bridges in Tron.
Okay, that was actually very impressive.
God, then Tron 3 needs to happen.
It will happen.
I don't want to wait 20 years. Or it was 30 years or some shit, wasn't it?
It will happen eventually. They'll get a Tron 3, as long as they don't try to make another Tomorrowland, which I still like. But apparently some people did not.
I actually tried recently.
I know you did.
Tried. It was on cable. It was garbage. It's a garbage movie.
Come on. Where's your imagination? Things can change.
The only good part was George Clooney being George Clooney. Which George Clooney just is charming. That's all the man is.
Okay, fine. You didn't like Hugh Laurie in it? Him being his usual self? Anyways. So, yeah, so...
What do you mean his usual self? Is he trying to rob puppies? Remember, he was one of the little
Yes,
kidnappers
I
in
remember.
101 Dalmatians.
Anyway, so yeah, Mulan is being made into a live-action movie with the fast-track release date of November of 2018. We'll see what happens with this one. It will be just as memorable as Cinderella.
You don't know that.
Who knows?
Lion King I'm looking forward to, man.
Jon Favreau did a fantastic job with it.
Because they even said all the music's going to be in there.
Yes. Now, most likely it'll be similar to how they handled the music in Jungle Book, have a new spin on it, which I'm perfectly fine with.
No.
Do you think that they'll bring back Eddie Murphy as the voice of Mushu?
Man needs the work. I'm sure if anything, he'll do it for free just because he needs the exposure. Condoms.
Moving forward. So we have finally news about Wolverine 3. It's been in the works for a while. We know it's going to be the Wolverine's first rated R outing. Hugh Jackman just recently posted a picture of the upcoming poster for the new movie, which showcases not only the release date, but also the title of the upcoming film, which
creeps me out.
Just be called Logan. What, the little kid holding his arm is...
Okay. Think about how distended her hand would have to be to hold his hand like that. Considering you see it going back past his pinky and still showing up right there in the front. You're telling me that big of a gap between fingers and palm is not concerning to you at all?
Mutant. I don't know.
We know. Okay, we already know that's probably his daughter, and we already know she's a fucking mutant, but not that. Whatever that is weird. That is man hands. That is. You know what the worst part is? I know now that I've said that, you can't unsee it.
I can't unsee it. God damn it, son of a bitch. But this is, Photoshop 101, trying to make it work,
No, like, I'm looking forward to this.
Yes.
I think this will be the biggest testament to, how rated R movies will do, or rated R comic book movies will do.
Mm-hmm. Now,
because this was only announced that it was going to be R after Deadpool did so well.
After Deadpool did so well, yes. We know Hugh Jackman, can act. He can do the action sequences. It's so funny that every time someone brings up stuff about the Wolverine movies, is that they always have to show the inevitable comparison shots of Hugh Jackman from in the first X-Men film till now, just how progressively ripped he's gotten.
I thought you were gonna say every time they mention he's doing a movie, it's like he's getting in shape again, and you see him like lifting a Volvo or some small car over his head, and he just it's like
it's so funny though, because like when when he gets ready for these Wolverine movies, he definitely bulks up for them.
Yeah.
But then he goes off and does some other like small, sometimes indie movie and whatnot, and he's back down to like a twig.
I remember, yeah. I remember like right after he did X-Men Origins Wolverine, that's when he did Real Steel.
Real Steel, yeah.
Which I enjoy that movie.
And then after a few others, he did Chappie, where he was basically.
I don't know. The man's amazing. I look forward to it.
Yes.
But it's that man, like you'll see him. It's like you have muscle definition where there should be no muscle definition.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure there'll be another round of people saying we're going to do the exact same workout as Hugh Jackman did, and it's just like, what was it, when the 300 came out that had that Spartan workout thing?
Yeah, that was because that was the beginning of P90X.
Yeah.
People, the beginning of that workout where you're wiggling ropes like this and lifting tractor tires, trying to crack walnuts with your ass cheeks.
The most I lift nowadays, but
Do you even lift, brah? More than you know.
Anyways. So Logan will be coming out March 3rd to be rated R and be out in theaters. I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we'll most likely see the introduction of X-23.
Sorry, I kept laughing as you're moving around. I saw that thing that's like the female Ocean's 11.
We're not going to talk about that.
Nor should we.
Yeah, it's Ocean's 11 with 8 women because we couldn't find a total of 11 women that we could stand together at once.
Like I said, the best part is the comedian John Mulaney made a joke that they could never make a movie or a female version of Ocean's 11 because the entire movie would be 2 of the girls breaking off from the other 9 to talk shit about the rest of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yep, because Ocean's 11 already did that. Think about it. For the most part, in Ocean's 11, like even the remake was George Clooney and fucking Brad Pitt like splitting off and like, wow, that's actually happening.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
But fuck that. Let's talk about Twitch Prime.
Yes, so over the weekend there was TwitchCon down in San Diego at the convention center, and one of the major things that Twitch announced was a thing called Twitch Prime. So if you pick up Amazon Prime, you actually automatically get Twitch Prime as well. What this means is several things if you're a Twitch follower or streamer. One, you get free game loot every month. Basically, they will partner up with a game company and say, we're going to release a special item or add-on just for Twitch Prime members, like, a new Hearthstone hero or a new indie game that we're going to give away for free. You also get discounts on new release box games from Amazon. Obviously, you have to go through there because Twitch is owned by Amazon. You need when you link your Amazon and Twitch accounts together, you get an ad-free viewing experience, which a lot of people are going to be looking forward to. Yes, Twitch right now has an option where you can watch streams ad-free, but honestly at this point, if you have an Amazon Prime subscription, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Very nice, especially when you're watching championships where they can go on for hours and you continually get interrupted. You also get free stuff like exclusive emotes and chat badges, and one free channel subscription every 30 days. So basically every month you can choose to subscribe to a certain streamer for free. Some of these subscriptions can be like $5-10. Now you're gonna get at least one a month for free. That's a pretty decent deal. I know Twitch already had this like turbo package, which kind of combined all of this, but then once Amazon bought them, they're like, why don't we just combine all of this? Because all this is going to do is tell people, hey, if you go with Amazon Prime, you sign up for that for $99 a year. You already get the 2-day free shipping. Let's just tack on all this other stuff like Amazon Music, free Kindle downloads. You have other video and TV series service. You have now deals for Twitch. It's kind of started like a sum of all the parts is well worth the $99 a year.
I think it's gonna get to the point where they're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna double the price. Why? You were charging this much for so long. It's like, oh, because you're basically gonna be able to do everything through us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think it'll ever happen. But what if it comes to the point where it's like, oh yeah, we bought Netflix.
Funny you mentioned that. There's actually rumors right now and when this rumor came out, Netflix's stock surged in price. Disney may be in the talks to buy not only Netflix but also Twitter.
I heard about the Twitter one, but
yeah,
I don't know.
I could see Netflix being bought out by Disney, but that's neither here nor there at this point. What I do have to say though is that while Amazon is getting all these great packages and offers and deals for people to sign up for Amazon Prime, there's always like, it's cool, but there's something better out there. Like, you have access to Amazon Music. Well, I have Spotify for that. Well, there's Amazon TV movies. Well, I have Netflix and Hulu for that. I mean, the Twitch thing...
But Amazon has fucking Doctor Who right now.
Yes, it does.
Doctor Who. I miss being able to come home after a long day.
I was going to say, don't you have an Amazon Prime subscription? Oh.
No, you guys do. That's why every time, if you not notice, like, Jason, I need to find this random movie.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Because Becca said I should watch it, and I'm gonna make Grandma watch it with me, or I need you to buy this thing for me. Here's money. Just go pick that up for me.
Fair enough. On a side note, though, because I just remembered, there's a bunch of new features that you can use Twitch with your games. There was actually, and I was trying to find it real quick while I was trying to look it up. There was a game company out there who created an indie game, which it looks to be fairly fun, but they integrated some commands in the game that if you're streaming through Twitch, if a member from that game company logs on to the company Twitch chat account and jumps into the chat room and makes certain commands, it will actually start controlling the elements of your game in real time. So, for example, there's just this guy streaming this game, and you're basically jumping from, like, semi to semi while they're going over, like, cliffs and whatnot. It's random, it's an indie game, but it looks fun. It's like a physics-based game. But they turn around and it's like, hello, streamer, this is, the video game company. We now control your game. Just overlaid over his screen.
That would annoy me after a while.
And it's like, what's your favorite color? We just changed all the colors of everything. How about we just turn everything into speed run mode and like sped up the, everything in the game. Messed around with gravity, messed around with all these other things in real time, just fucking around with the streamer itself.
That could be fun, but it's like, how often would that actually happen?
Every one-off, scenario at this point. So it's just funny that you can see these new features being built into Twitch itself that can be cool, but I'm totally waiting for the day that some guy hacks it and starts fucking with people in the wrong way.
Like that's bound to happen. And you give nerds the option or the taste of something that could happen.
Or just give them enough time, they can create gold. Like this
presumably.
Next bit. Go for it.
Basically, some massive nerd, and nerd I mean doing the Lord's work, basically made. Would you call it like an expansion, or?
I would call it an expansion.
It's essentially like a continuation off of one of the greatest games of all time, Mario 64.
Mm-hmm.
It's still in the same graphics, except there's more of it.
Yes.
I mean, some of the levels that they showed was like Mario running on Rainbow Road for some reason. And part of it looked like if you had Mario 64 in like Mario Galaxy Land.
Yeah, no. So this one person by the name of Kaze or Kaze Emanuar released a game recently called Super Mario 64
You know, how I
Last
know you
Impact.
watch too much anime. You prefer
Kaze, yeah.
Kaze. I thought it
Or
was
Kaze.
just Kaz or
Or
Kaze.
Kaz, yeah. Anyways, so this is for a ROM that you can download. You can play with an emulator. If Nintendo has since
If they haven't cock-slapped that yet and decided you
Yeah.
can't have this.
He claims he's been working on this for over a year, about over 4,000 man hours to actually create this. Last Impact adds 130 new collectible stars, entirely new areas, new enemies, new bosses, and 12 new power-ups.
See, the power-ups is what got me.
He created a brand new game basically using the Mario 64 engine.
Yeah.
He released it for free online. You guys need to check this out if you can find it. Hopefully it's still available. If not, I'm sure you guys are smart enough to find it online somewhere.
I would not be surprised if, like, Nintendo saw this, bought it, gave it a good polish, and like, oh, we're going to throw it up somewhere. Because essentially, this is what happens if you gave someone a better edition of Mario Maker.
But this is also Nintendo. I think this is going to be a cease and desist at this point. You're using their licensed software to play it on an emulator.
But it's on the internet.
It's never truly gone.
Once it's on there, it never goes away.
Now, you can go online on YouTube and just do a quick search for Super Mario Last Impact, and you can see a ton of videos out there of not only from the developer themselves, but also other people who have downloaded it and started playing it. This stuff is impressive as all hell. I kind of want to see if I can download it and try to play it as well.
No, I see most things online. It's like, nerds. This looks like garbage. Why, nerds? Why? And then I saw this and went, ooh, shiny.
Yeah, pretty much. So, but again, like you said, it could be a cease and desist already. But I'm now the fact that it came out, it's online, it's in a downloadable ROM. How soon do you think it'll be? If it hasn't already, some other person to take this, find a way to transfer it into
cartridge?
an N64 cartridge and make this actually work.
Matter of time if it hasn't happened already.
Yeah, I'm sure someone will find it and post it on Reddit. And
come on, man, Pokemon Black.
Oh yeah,
the original Pokemon Black.
Well, every generation, there's always a fan-created Pokemon game that makes its rounds. There was another one that just got shut down, I think maybe a few weeks ago.
I thought you'd be like games that, don't exist unless you're, walking down Shame Alley one day at a convention.
Oh, those we know exist, but
No, but I mean like Pokemon Black, the original cartridge. Mm-hmm. That was something you just kind of heard about. Like as a child, and even still to this day, I don't think I've ever actually seen one.
The whispers throughout the convention. Someone has this.
The hush talk amongst nerds.
Yes.
It's like your Pokemon could really die. But you know what I mean? It wouldn't surprise me if... I mean, obviously now we've evolved, we've gotten craftier.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, we have a few more things to talk about before we wrap this up. And we've been talking already for almost 45 minutes, so let's jump into it.
Still decently time for us.
Latest thing is a rumor that is making its way across the internet. And it's too good of a rumor for us to pass up because we really, really, really hope this actually becomes a thing. A website popped up online called alive2017.com. When you go to it, all you see is a white text of the word alive. But if you zoom in into the eye, or if you just move around you pinch the zoom on your phone or your iPad, you see a bunch of numbers that are counting down. Someone's already figured out that this ends on October 27th. And a lot of people are going crazy because a lot of people believe this is the announcement date for Daft Punk's 2017 World Tour.
I'm excited and hesitant. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
I want it to happen.
But I worry about douchebags.
How so?
It's electronic music. I worry that there could be the possibility it's like, oh my god, I could feel the music.
Oh, there's always going to be that.
And me be surrounded by like, get the fuck off, get off me.
All right.
I'm here to stick with like my one dance move, just like going like this.
I don't care what dance move or lack thereof that I have. I will spend money to go see this happens. To further add fuel to the fire of the rumor of a 2017 World Tour, Daft Punk has only toured worldwide twice in its past. Once in 2007 and another one in 1997. So if they keep that up every 10 years, 2017 World Tour, that would be absolutely amazing. There's already been plenty of people quickly trying to debunk this. I've looked through the code and when it was registered, and it looks amateurish and shit in terms of the code itself. But this could also be Daft Punk trying to
Fuck with people?
just to fuck with people, which they've been known to do in the past.
I mean, my favorite is still Evolving Tron. The fact that they released 2 different albums.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what happens with this. If you also looked into the code itself, there's a bunch of numbers that people actually were to decipher as coordinates for several cities around the world, including Paris, Los Angeles, London, New York, Tokyo, Sao Paulo, Ibiza, and Indio/Palm Springs.
We get 2 chances.
Yeah. Now, I found this article initially on Reddit, and the top comment was, just name your price, Daft Punk. Just name your goddamn price.
Yeah, it's dangerous, but
Because it's like,
but accurate as fuck.
money down, don't care. Like, I know there's always, for almost
Babe,
everybody
I'm
else.
sorry. We're gonna be eating top ramen for like a month and a half. This needs to happen.
No, it's me, Jess. Hey, remember that money we put away for our wedding? It's gone now.
Wedding? The wedding will have to be delayed a little bit. You'll understand, right, hun? But the thing is, though, as I was saying,
Marriage is just a piece of paper, right? Like, we're still good.
there's
Been
a
there for months.
there's a number, at least for everybody. There's got to be at least one, band, performer, whatever,
Oh,
that if they
sweetheart,
turned around and
I
said
would
that,
sell your liver for Oingo Boingo tickets.
yes. But anyways,
But he's old.
there's
It would
people
just
out
be
there
dust.
who will spend an ungodly amount of money to see like their absolute favorite, band or person. Like Jess was just saying, she would probably sell my liver so she could actually go get tickets to go see Oingo Boingo if they ever came back.
At least she didn't mention a vital organ. Like, you could run for a little while without a liver.
But then I couldn't have booze.
Wow.
She's just.
That's her rationality, because that one would hurt you the
Oh
most.
God.
And now he's trying to enjoy it now, just in case. You guys are gonna go see Danny Elfman
God.
at the end of October. One could only hope that he's not like, we're doing a reunion show coming in next year. Babe, I'm sorry. It's coming out.
Honestly, I'm going to say this right now. If Oingo Boingo reunites for 2017 and Daft Punk, I'm going to send invitations to our family like, wedding's been canceled, priorities. And take a picture of me and Jason with our concert tickets.
Matching band
I
t-shirts.
like this idea.
Okay,
instead-
we're also
instead-
really talking hypotheticals.
Come on, that'd be amazing though. If there was an Oingo Boingo and Daft Punk concert, we'll just go to court, get the document, take a Snapchat of it along with pictures of tickets for Oingo Boingo and Daft Punk.
No,
People
man.
will understand.
Just get married in that concert shirt.
Just get married in the concert shirt.
Jess would be wearing, an Oingo Boingo t-shirt. We'll even buy like the largest one they have, so it looks like a dress of some kind. And Jason would just wear a Daft Punk shirt, and we'd give him a bow tie, and be like, "Yep, this is what they got married in. They had their choices, and they made them."
Yeah.
And in the words of that old fuck at the end of Last Crusade, "You have chosen wisely."
I like this idea. Before we get to our last bit, we have a couple reviews for you. As we were talking about earlier, Luke Cage came out on Netflix, 13 episodes for the first season, as well as the first episode of Westworld on HBO. Let's talk Luke Cage. How many episodes have you seen?
6.
I've seen all 13.
13, yeah. You're already done.
What have you seen? Okay, out of stuff you've seen so far.
Well, I don't want to start spoiling shit, but
Yeah,
I mean, the bits that I've seen, I had the few Easter eggs that were thrown in there. I really enjoyed. I think the show is doing a really good job. I mean, I could not be an advocate for it for obvious reasons. But I think the way they treat black culture is actually pretty spot on.
I agree.
Because I think I remember we even had a discussion. My one fear about shows or comic book characters like Luke Cage or Black Panther, good old T'Challa, is the fact that every single thing they do turns out like a Spike Lee movie. Where it's like, just because you're black, you're immediately the most intelligent person. And if you're white, you're immediately the most racist fucking person ever.
Sure.
And it's like, it doesn't really work that way. I mean, this Luke Cage is doing a fairly decent job, at least I think it is, so far anyways, of showing all aspects of the African American community. You know, and there are some bad apples, but they're also good people. I mean, still, I definitely enjoy the whole. Anytime Luke Cage gets called the N-word, he's like, "You don't get to call me that."
Yep.
No.
His whole swear word jar that he got from Pops. Yeah.
I mean, the show itself is actually really good. My favorite thing about the show still, I remember this, it was exactly what I told you after episode 2, is the music.
Oh, the music's amazing. You called it Sunday night when we were sitting at Fridays. You were like, you will enjoy this, all the music that surrounds this series. And from the background music that was done by the Beatsmaker for, just
The Wu-Tang.
not Wu-Tang,
Meh.
Tribe Called Quest.
There you go, that's the one.
To the performances in the club itself. Jesus,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Absolutely loved it. I know there's a soundtrack out there right now. It's been on my Spotify playlist for a while. Since I started watching like episode 3, I went on the Spotify, and you now favorite.
Yeah, no, the music is amazing. The acting it's not bad, but it's not amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But the show, I enjoy it a lot. So far, I like it a little bit more than Jessica Jones, but not as much as Daredevil season 1.
I'll agree with you with that. I've seen a little bit more. I'm trying to figure out how I can say this without spoiling. There are several aspects of the series that they tried to establish pretty early on that they turn on their head so fast later on in the series for the better. It's not just to try to keep you on your toes. It's there for a reason, and it actually makes perfect sense.
So I have to ask you, does it continue with what I told you about after seeing the first few episodes? Like with Cottonmouth?
No.
Okay, so he blatantly just goes down that path.
That being said, Luke Cage, he's bulletproof. He can take a punch. He can go through walls. He can, do a bunch of stuff.
In episode like 3 or 4, they make mention of the fact that it's like, yes, everyone thinks that if I had those powers, I would just go do this, and he does it, and it fucking backfires.
It does. It's the consequences that they actually focus on, and that's fantastic for them to go through and do that. It's no longer like Captain America. I'm gonna bust through this window and beat all these bad guys, and everything is fine, right? No, there's a problem with you breaking, property. You are being sued by the property manager. All these other plausible, scenarios actually happen in this series. But the other thing is that every time that Luke Cage goes out and starts fighting someone, I think it's brilliantly done, because Daredevil, you had a man who trained himself to be the pinnacle of human strength, and he still, if he's in that iconic hallway scene, there are some of those people who need to get beat down 3 or 4 times to stay down, and you can see the toll that it's taken on Matt Murdock's body at that point. Luke Cage, you don't have to worry about that. He just walks through walls, and he can grab someone and throw them across the street and not be a problem.
Well, yeah.
But the thing is, every time he actually uses his, for lack of a better phrase, powers, he actually does it in a very realistic and enjoyable way. It's no longer just like, I'm going to watch Superman walk through this, this building and just tear shit up. It was, no, there's a reason for everything, and it worked out so well. Even at the end, the final battle, where he really lets loose, and that's not spoiling anything, it had a gravitas to it, because he's mentioned several times in the series, he does not want to use these powers.
He doesn't want to fight at all, even before he had the powers.
Exactly. But now that he has the powers, he knows that he should not. And so when he finally has to, and he wants to, there's such a gravitas behind it that it just makes that scene so much more compelling. So
I look forward to it then.
Yeah. There are several characters from Jessica Jones and Daredevil that actually make several appearances, and they stay. So they further tie in all these Defenders characters, especially their side characters, together to weave.
So like Foggy and shit shows up?
Not Foggy.
Oh, the lawyer chick.
people show up, people, happen, and things have repercussions. Now, there was one episode later on, which you haven't seen yet, where they start getting into like the pseudo Marvel science of how he became what he was.
We'll ignore that. Basically,
yeah.
So 4 out of 5. How many stars out of 5?
I would say 4.5. 4.5 out of 5 stars. I just wish that while they did resolve some things for the first season, they definitely left it open-ended for the second season. But the thing is, though, we know it's going to be years before season 2, and I wanted more of a wrap-up of what was going on this season. I always did not get that, but part of me is fine with that because that guarantees the fact that I'm going to see a season 2.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of every show in their first season, especially if you don't know how it's going to end. They do the whole,
True.
Out of the 10 questions we give you, we'll solve 7 of them.
This thing...
We're going to leave a few open-ended so we can tie that shit off in a later season.
Here's the thing, though. Like, say there was 10 things at the end that they needed to wrap up. They only wrapped up maybe 2 of them. There was
Defenders.
There was stuff that I was like, you need to solve... Oh, okay, never mind that. It's not going to happen. Yeah, exactly. Wait for Defenders. The other one, which you just watched before we hit record, was the first episode of Westworld on HBO. What did you think of this?
A lot of what the fuck? There was a lot of it. I'm like, what is going on right now? It is only the first episode. I'm assuming it's not like a real TV show. It's more like a miniseries. Like, I'm assuming it has an end.
This is open-ended at this point. Because the original source material was written and directed by Michael Crichton of Jurassic Park, Andromeda Strain, and a number of other books. This one was actually an original movie that he wrote and directed back in the 70s. So, in that movie, they focused on 3 different worlds, and Westworld was just one of them. There was also an ancient Rome world. There was a few others. So far for this one, all we know is they're focusing on the Old West, and that could be just for the the first season.
For this season, yeah. They can go and explore their shit. The acting was amazing. Everything
top-notch acting.
Everything. Everything across the board was. You could tell, like that one rich kid we were all friends with growing up, because he had all the cool toys. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh yeah, money's no option. Word. That's why you have a power glove.
Right.
So I mean that definitely very much came through. But it was enjoyable. I'm definitely curious to see how the rest of it's gonna go. I mean, for the most part, when you start watching, nothing's force fed.
No.
There's a lot of it. It's just mystery, and it's like we'll explain eventually. No. Fuck.
There's a lot to be explained. Everything about the androids and this whole Reverie update that's causing these little problems here. Can probably expand to a probably huge problem.
I like that you call them. I just want to keep calling them skin jobs.
Skin jobs.
Bunch of fracking toasters, man.
The cast is amazing. It was great that they were able to get people like Anthony Hopkins involved with this.
James Marsden.
What was it? Evan Rachel Wood.
Yeah.
She's gonna play a major role in all this.
She's easy on the eyes, but I mean, she plays cold and emotionless.
Very well.
The fact that she's playing a robot that's cold and emotionless.
It works at that point.
It's kind of like, remember when Keanu Reeves was in Day the Earth Stood Still? It's like, oh, you're going to have Keanu Reeves play an emotionless robot? Oh,
if you've never read anything about this movie, consider it's a variation between, say, a high-end Jurassic Park and Grand Theft Auto. Basically, people who can spend an ungodly amount of money can come to this park area, this area being the Old West, surrounded by androids. You can do whatever you want. If you want to play, on the side of good and just go pan for gold, or you want to go off on an adventure or whatnot, you can do that. Or you can succumb to your baser human instincts and go up on a raping and pillaging and killing spree.
They make that joke in the very beginning of the show when you were first introduced to James Marsden's character. There's one guy, it's like, you know what?
On the train, yeah.
Yeah, on the train, the guy was like, yeah, my last one, I went pure evil. It was a lot of fun, but I don't know if I want to do that again. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, so these are definitely people. It's like they've...
Right, exactly. And the fact that these androids are so lifelike that you have to seriously question yourself. Even the first episode, are you human or are you android? And they start breaking that down, and actually in some areas kind of melding that here and there.
I thought you were. I seriously thought you were this close to blatantly asking me if they dream of electric sheep.
Too a joke to get into.
A joke that all of like 5 people probably got.
Yeah, probably.
But I mean, I look forward to seeing where it's gonna go.
Jonathan Nolan, his wife, I can't remember her name for the life of me, has done amazing work with this. They've taken the script and ideas from Michael and expanded and embellished them to something that's going to be hopefully incredible. HBO is throwing a lot of money at this.
One can assume.
Something like $10 to $13 million an episode for this series, and they had the highest rated viewing since like the first episode of True Detective.
Oh man, I forgot that was a show.
Yeah,
I haven't seen any of that.
So it's already off to a great start. They're gonna hopefully move forward with this. There are people out there who have reviewed the first 4 episodes and said it actually keeps on getting better and better. So it keeps me hopeful for this. And I really want to see where this can go at the end of, I think, the 10 episode for the first season.
I'm surprised if they just pulled a Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of the thing. We know the Game of Thrones is ending. This is probably HBO's next Game of Thrones, or they're hoping for it to be. It won't reach the level of Game of Thrones, but it'll be enough to say this is our flagship series for the foreseeable future.
So it's like Warner Brothers and Batman vs Superman.
But hopefully for a much better...
No. Obviously a better result.
Yeah.
But Warner Brothers had that gap of, fuck, Harry Potter's ending. What are we going to have
do?
now?
Right.
Well, Man of Steel did okay. How can we make this bigger so we can draw this giant franchise to replace the old one?
Which, on a side note, Ben Affleck came out and said a couple things. One, We're probably
calling it The Batman.
The Batman. And 2, he actually gave his opinion about the failures and successes of Batman v Supes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Every time I think about that, I just think about that interview.
It's a good video to watch. You guys should check it out. You can probably look online for it. He was basically complaining about the tone of it itself. So, but you can dive into that yourself and check that one out. The last thing we want to talk about before we wrap this episode up is, God damn it, Japan.
Well, Japan has always been known for doing weird foods and things.
But this sounds amazing, though.
I'm fairly certain in our first episode, that's when we talked about the Black Whopper.
Yes. The one that they covered or darkened using...
Squid ink in Japan.
Squid ink in Japan.
But here, coloring, so it turned your shit like neon green.
Green.
Which, apparently you had to eat a lot of them. I ate 2 and saw no discernible difference.
Aww.
But outside of the color spectrum that my feces takes, more specifically... the candy maker Pocky,
yeah, Glyco,
which I think we've all had at some point, like even those like non-anime nerds.
Glyco has always been made Pocky available worldwide, and most people have tried it at least once in their lives.
Basically, what would you call it? Just a candied stick.
Yeah,
like a little,
basically a little
bread
pretzel.
Stick.
Yeah,
that's basically it's like dipped in some kind of chocolate or some kind of flavoring. Mm-hmm. Chocolate's usually the generic one. I've seen strawberry. I've seen green tea. It changes. This one is the new one. That's whiskey flavored.
Oh yeah, whiskey flavored Pocky. This is So Glyco decided, you know what? We already know chocolate's a good pair with whiskey. We want to go one step further. So they decided to make part of the pretzel stick, make it kneaded with wort, which is basically that sugary liquid that's made from mashing malted barley in hot water. It's what's used to make these type of drinks. So
when you try to make amazing,
wasn't enough for them. They actually worked with Suntory, a company in Japan that actually makes, the Suntory, they actually make their, whiskey and a bunch of other liqueurs there. They made sure that this is a perfect combination to work with chocolate and whiskey. Why can't we have this here?
Wait, for real? Like, they get it there?
I'm going to have to import this. They're not going to make this worldwide. This is going to be, you have to import this. And the second I can find some, you damn well know I'm going to be doing so.
Ask Carl.
I still have some contacts in Japan. I'll just hey.
Or that. Must be nice. All my friends are still fucking retarded.
So we will have to find out more about this. If I can get some, we will have some on the show. But it's good to be back for another episode of Geeks and Drinks.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Kind of just like riding a bike, we just jump right back on.
for the most part.
Yeah.
Andy. Worst part is I was never really a sweets guy, but
whiskey flavored Pocky.
no, man. I think it's just the season, Halloween. It's not a holiday. It's a fucking
It
season.
like Jess says, from September 1st to January 4th is the best time of the year.
Yeah.
Because you have Halloween, Thanksgiving, and of course Christmas.
I think Thanksgiving's a bit of a lull. Christmas is magical.
I won't be able to enjoy Thanksgiving this year just because
I
I'll
mean,
have to be at work at like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning.
You
so.
remember when we worked together for like a week and a half straight? I showed up wearing a Santa hat to work.
Yeah.
Like a fucking champ.
Times.
But Halloween, man, Count Chocula is in season.
You have 4 boxes.
I know, and not even regular size boxes, fucking family size.
I think it'd be good for the next week or so.
That shit'll be gone in like 2 weeks.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. As always, you can follow us on the Facebook and Twitter. You can follow me on OtakuLife Jason. You can also follow on OtakuLife Network for additional information. And, of course, follow us and subscribe to our YouTube page. You can grab all the latest episodes as soon as they are available. So, for Geeks and Drinks...
Yes, they follow him because apparently I don't have anything. That's not even a diss against him. I legitimately just don't care enough.
Thank you guys so much. For Geeks and Drinks, I'm Jason.
Jordan.
Cheers, Internet.